Hello, welcome back to Aston Martin F1 Manager 22. 3 races to go, round 20. Now, of course, the elephant in the room here is the fact that we've already won both things. So really, the tension and the suspense has kind of gone. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There's only one thing left to play for, and that's Mick Schumacher. Mick Schumacher is leading the pack for best of the rest if we accept that Max Verstappen is second. 3 races to go, 32 points behind. It's not unfathomable if Max Verstappen has a 0-pointer, but I think we do have to rely on a Max Verstappen 0-pointer for that to be a thing. But we do want Mick Schumacher to be best of the rest. We need to keep him ahead of Leclerc, Sainz, Perez. Perez is kind of in the same boat that Mick is to Verstappen. He would require all 3 of them basically to have a no-pointer to be back in that fight. Unfortunately, Perez himself has had too many 0-pointers. But what it does mean, and I'm going to put the disclaimer out right now, if we are in a 1-2 situation, I will put Mick ahead. Just saying, there is 0 value in keeping Pierre Gasly winning a race that he doesn't need to win, from my perspective, so I will let Mick have it in order to solidify or even nick second. And also, just as a reminder, obviously this video is going out as the second of 2. We will still do the last 2 races as individual videos, and then in the weeks remaining between the end of this season and F1 Manager 23, we will be doing a season per week. Going to be a bit of effort on my part to blast through that, but one thing I didn't say is, I think what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to try and showcase a different Grand Prix each time, rather than just doing the same 2 twice, or 3 times, depending on how many weeks there are in between. So that will be highly dependent on probably where we could potentially clinch things if we are in a position to clinch things again. So if we're able to clinch things, say USA, we might bring you back for the USA Grand Prix, and then just blast through the remaining 3 and give you the overview. But that will be a bridge I cross when I get to it. Certainly for the mid-season one, the halfway update, I will probably pick a different Grand Prix in that vicinity. But of course, there's no team news as such. Nothing's happened to the team between last race and this race. It's literally 4 days later. So I will see you for qualifying. Hello there. Yeah, kind of status quo. Surprisingly first. Yeah, I mean, effectively, as standard, probably shouldn't have actually sent Pierre Gasly out in practice 3, thinking about it. Could have given it to the reserve driver. Because technically, he had 15 out of 15 before he even started practice 3. But oh well. Well, that's not helpful. Gasly actually just went and overtook Sargent on the main straight, so I don't think he got held up by him in the end. Sargent crashed into his teammate in practice, which is why he's, well, I was about to say apocalyptically slow, but Tsunoda's not that much faster either, so maybe that is just the Williams pace. Gasly's fine. Bottas was fast in practice, so I think he's got more. Can't really attest to anyone else who's down there. McLaren both being down there seems odd. The top 8 feels like the top 8 because I think the Alpines have dropped off a little bit. So apart from Bottas, I don't think there's anyone faster apart from Bottas. But this might be there's like a couple of tracks where you can actually gain a significant period of time between runs. I don't know what the crowd are clapping for, by the way. Just realised I did that entire thing on the left-hand side. Still apologies for that, but Gasly actually overtook Sargent, so he didn't actually get held up. He's nice and comfortably third. Probably doesn't need to go again. But 2 Williams, obviously terrible. There's a bit of a gap between Zhou Guanyu and Stroll, which has me a smidge concerned. Same with Albon and Doohan, and Vettel and Magnussen. I think Mick will be fine, but I'm just wary this might be one of the few rare tracks where there can be an issue. Oh, why did... There's another bloody Williams. I might as well just bring Mick straight in. I thought I'd seen all the vehicles come out. Can I put him back into automatic mode after? He's far too close. Yeah, I can't slow him down. F1 Manager 23. Have a command here in qualifying for build a gap. I mean, it's a hell of a slipstream, but he's going to get held up. He's making her overtake. It was just Bottas and Magnussen in the end. It was a bit of a waste of tyres, but we go again. I should say, actually, as well, you may have noticed it on the practice 3, but 3 of the top drivers have penalties this weekend, including Max Verstappen. I mentioned in the intro section that if Max had a 0-point race, then Mick gets in the fight for second. Oh, Gasly is miles ahead. Mick is way less comfortable top 10 than I would like, especially with the knowledge that Magnussen went faster in Q1. But Gasly's obviously fine again. Get behind that Merc. Should be fine. New tyres for Mick. On board here in Mexico, he's actually dropped back an alarming amount. Is it Bottas in front of him? It is. That might explain that. Does appear to be slower than Bottas on a lap-by-lap basis. Don't really know why. But if you can find time, and he has found time, always might be one of those rare occasions where he's gone faster on fresh tyres. It's a Christmas miracle. McLaren's crossed the line and not got out of the bottom 5, so that's good. McLaren was on the back of the Ferrari, which is the weird part of this. How he didn't get slipstreamed faster, I don't know. Hamilton's gone faster than Mick, 100% necessary to have sent Mick out again, because Magnussen and Ocon are yet to cross the line. Zhou Guanyu goes faster. Magnussen goes faster as well. Ocon goes faster than Mick, but he's done faster first and second, and puts himself back 8th. Same top 10 as it was in Q1, just slightly different order. Valtteri, Bottas, Max Verstappen, and Carlos Sainz. I can't remember who the third one. And you assigned some Verstappen. All have penalties. I don't know what the race strategies are in Mexico, but I also kind of feel like Mick's not going to go any faster. He's done that on used tyres, but I don't think he's going to go forwards. And both of these two have used the best of their tyres by this point. I think there's a slimmest of chances he gets past Sainz, but Sainz has got a penalty anyway, so it's kind of pointless. Wish I could see the other previous. Wish I could see Q1 and Q2 times so I could compare. Interesting. I think I'm actually going to... Oh, hang on. I was going to send Mick out on the used set of tyres, but I've just remembered the set that he's got fresh is the Q3 set, so I might as well. I think they get returned. Never mind. I might as well. Might as well have a stab at getting Mick maybe ahead of the Ferraris, I don't know. Can he find 700ths? Leclerc doesn't have a penalty, of course. So poor Mick gets out ahead of Magnussen, which he does. Another... Well, I forgot what the word is. I was about to say preliminary pole, but it's currently pole for Pierre. Can't think of the word. There's a word for that, and I can't remember what it is. My brain has just gone entirely blank on it. Should really be on board with Pierre as he goes through the first chicanes. He's only 8,000ths faster than Bottas. The Mercedes have brought it this weekend on a track that the Red Bulls actually typically love, historically in real life, as Pierre actually goes slow in the first sector, but then again, he is doing fresh tyres to fresh tyres. He's still got one entirely fresh set. Beyond these, I use the same set in Q1 and Q2, and literally no others. I just ran the same one set twice. Mick has gone faster in the first sector, comparatively. Verstappen crosses the line and actually does go marginally faster. None of these guys will be... Oh, Perez goes ahead in his own race. These will all be on used tyres, of course. I think Russell may have found a fraction as well. I can't remember if he was 17/100ths. Oh, Sainz found time. That's unfortunate. Well, he's got a penalty anyway. Doohan goes ahead of Mick, actually. It was important to send Mick out again. I wasn't expecting him to improve like that. Gasly finds a bit. Bottas doesn't find anything. Mick finds... Not 8. What are you doing, Mick? Found like, I think, 1/100th of a second on fresh tyres. What is he doing? What is he doing? It was actually his best time as well. Unfortunately, he's also Jack Doohan after putting exactly the same time in Q1 and Q2 finds 700ths. Bloody hell. What are you supposed to do in this situation? Max Verstappen qualified 6th. That feels wrong. Still, Bottas, Sainz and Verstappen all have penalties. Depending on what they are, they could be behind Mick. Oh, this is generally the first time I've noticed this light rain race. Well, that is rain for quite a long period. Is that intermediate for that entire stretch? Oh, God. Probably. Might dip under there, but probably. Like, this is borderline intermediate. Oh, so it doesn't matter that we don't have any softs left then. Because I need a tyre that will get me to there, which might be the medium. It will be the medium. I need lap 25, which is here. A soft will get me to lap 23 if I don't push it at all. So, yeah, we'll plug in the one stop as the standard strategy, but in full anticipation of there being rain. Don't need to worry about that really at all. Mick starts 6th, so all 3 of those drivers did have penalties that took them behind him. Off we go for a wet Mexico.
We're about to find out at the Mexican Grand Prix. And it's lights out.
So I can see Mick. Am I going crazy? Was Crofty really late there with the away we go? Because I started talking over him there. So Doohan starts 5th. Russell briefly had Gasly, but I'm not going to wash that because I think Mick will get him back. But when it says Gasly overtakes Russell, it's a lie, obviously. He wasn't really overtaken big. So Sainz was back of grid. Verstappen started around 15th and Bottas started around 10th. So I would assume with Bottas, I think, qualifying 2nd, it was 10 places for Bottas, maybe 15 for Verstappen. No, probably would have been 10 places for Verstappen as well, because he qualified 6th and then it was back of the grid for Sainz. So like a full 20 minimum. Well, the cut-off push makes it gone backwards. Always helpful. Russell's 2 seconds behind Pierre. Bye, guys! I'll come back. Sainz is ahead of the Williamses at least. I don't know if he started behind them. I didn't check. But it's probably crucial that he did. But Pierre's just driving away again. Of course, Mexico, prone to an accident. So, fully expect something at some point. I kind of feel like everyone's a little bit too happy just to drive around in circles here. Is anyone on softs? Ooh, those 3 idiots. Vettel, what are you doing? It is one train from Russell through to Hamilton. And unfortunately for Verstappen, it is Norris and Ricciardo. So it is the same machinery in front of him. And Norris is on the fringe of getting DRS in the first place. So I don't think Verstappen's going to have an easy time getting through the 2 McLarens. If it had been 2 different vehicles, I think he might have had a better time with things, but it isn't. Unfortunately, I've just gone on 16 times here, almost accidentally, and, well, I'm not really bothered that I did because literally nothing is changing. I'm on lap 7 now. They've used a lot of fuel. Or at least Perez is having a go at Russell in a bizarre overtake. I did kind of forget that Mexico is a bit of an annoying DRS train, so actually a rainy Mexico is going to be quite fun because it eliminates that DRS nonsense. We get a little bit more accurate speed on speed here. We don't have everyone just pulling everyone along. But Verstappen's still stuck, Sainz has taken Albon, and that's it. The two Williamses are 5 seconds behind, bless them. Oh, they're 5 seconds behind each other, let alone just 5 seconds behind. I'm basically just waiting for someone to split off here. I do need there to be a reasonable gap between our two drivers, thinking about it, because I need them to be separated out so we can double stack when that rain comes in about 17 laps. But at the same time, let's get Magnussen. No changes to the schedule. Get him, Mick, get him! At the very least, make it look like you're trying to get him so you almost bait him into losing DRS, which is what's happening already because he's so far up his backside, Magnussen has dropped to 7/10. This might be like a weird accidental side effect. Pressure Magnussen and it forces him to defend. So you might actually have a better chance of things this go around, Mick, if you've actually got any charge left. Or indeed, try to overtake. I think as it stands cumulatively, there's about 4.5 seconds between the two. Yeah, which I think is enough to do a double stack. I mean, I don't know what overtake he just did there, but it was sensational. It happened in a blink of an eye. I didn't even see it happen until it happened. Rewatching this is brilliant. He goes around the outside, I think. He just, like, outbrakes him on the outside. I don't know how he still stopped and made the corner. He just made up a line. Bold move is the right terminology for once, Crofty. That was sensational from Mick. I mean, it's the only place I'm going to make him get, but I'm looking forward to the top-up choice in F1 Manager 23 for ERS purposes because harvest can be a problem. It almost invites them to overtake you. And the problem here is the actual part where they deploy ERS is the part where I want him to still deploy ERS. I want him to harvest on the other half of the lap, really, but that's not the point where he uses it to begin with, so he's not actually going to harvest there. It is interesting that Max is on the fringe of losing DRS immediately. Maybe I can get away with harvesting then. I'll keep him off harvest on the main straight. Well, we can just sort of shave a good, well, 10% I think it is every single lap. We might be okay here. Got another 10%. Do selective harvesting. And yeah, this is basically our game now, is just wait. Unfortunately, I think Magnussen is a bit too close now, so I'm not going to bother anymore. But we've gathered 20% off the baseline, so when it's empty, it's at 25% or so. So that's a, decent start. But unfortunately, I don't think I can invite slowness any more than I already have, and I can't really deploy any more than I already have as well. What is going on with the Williamses? Why are they so bad here? I suppose Sargent crashed into Tsunoda, so maybe he broke both vehicles in the process. Do I need to deploy Gasly for a fastest lap? And it's not that I want Gasly to have the fastest lap. I just need to deny Perez the point. Just have a push lap, Pierre. Just have a push lap. Go for it, mate. Build that gap. Actually, that's a good point. I need to make sure that Perez, Leclerc, neither of them lot have the fastest lap by the time the rain comes, because nobody's ever going to do a fast lap once that rain comes in about 10 laps time. So get the most out of Pierre now this lap, which is a second gained on Perez and Russell, and the fastest lap as a result. Lovely work. A 120.1 compared to their 121.6. And that helps us for the pit stop purpose as well, because it puts Mick 5 seconds behind, which means I don't think the double stack will be anything more than... I don't think Mick will have to wait now. Unless Pierre gets held for whatever reason, I don't think Mick will have to wait, because the actual pit stop's about 2.5 seconds. And then there's a little bit of, pull in, stop. Like, I think it actually kind of stops when I think the pit stop time stops when they actually get released, so there's kind of also that release time to factor in a little bit. So, we'll say about 3.5 seconds, 4 seconds to make sure. Gasly and Mick's tyres feel weirdly bad, but then again, they need to get to lap 25, not 28, as the strategies are sort of clued in for. Perez just took half a second out of that lead because of DRS. I'm actually going to try and save a bit with Pierre and lose that bonus he had before. Just because he was running at 0, which wasn't helping. Okay, so Mick's within 4 seconds again, which isn't helpful. Why are they gaining? Russell and Perez are just slingshotting each other past each other every lap now, which is getting them about half a second a lap, which is super irritating. I'm actually going to push Pierre's fuel, which I don't want to do. I mean, the rain's coming in 3 laps. I could technically push his tyres, but I need Pierre to build a bit of a gap up again. Or, Mick could just crash, so that saves that question. Not even pushing, Mick. I'm trying to get you second, Mick. I mean, he's driving, actually. When's the rain? I mean, yeah, front wing's gone, hasn't it? Chassis damage, suspension. I mean, it's a lot of fun happening there. I'm just trying to work out if one set of intermediates actually even gets to the end. I mean, it barely does. There's not a lot I can do about this. It's 3 laps till the rain comes. I just realised he's not even last. He's still got 20 seconds on this batch of vehicles here, which doesn't really help. He's still going to pit and come out behind them, but And he's still got to get to the pit stop, so I think he'll probably... Intermediates would be 18 seconds elapsed slower. So, no, yeah, you have to go on to... You do get to keep that. Oh, he needs a front wing change, doesn't he? Yeah, they basically caught up by the time he started his pit stop, so he's behind Tsunoda. But, I mean, you've literally changed that front wing already. You can absolutely blast these tyres, mate. I don't actually need to push Gasly's fuel now because I was trying to build the gap for Mick's purposes. Wait, where is Mick? Oh, hello, Mick. Am I going crazy or has that rain come early for him? Am I going crazy or is Mick just where the pit lane entry is?
Small spring.
Tsunoda's come in, that's fine. But those lot have all got to do a lap in intermediate conditions. He's not going to gain much, but he's going to gain something here, Mick. Attack through that section, Gasly. Yeah, so he's still behind Tsunoda, but obviously can't push those tyres. Like, he's not going to overtake anyone through that, but it'll have brought him back into the game. Oh, Gasly's entered a weird world because, of course, they're prioritising the wrong drivers. They're prioritising the wrong drivers, so we're stuck in a weird fight. Russell's actually with us. He may have even got held for Gasly. I wasn't paying attention. Other way around. Gasly may have even been held for Russell. So now we're side by side going through this because they've messed up. I mean, if anything, this is going to help this lot behind not be as far behind. Because that was to leader, of course. Now they've all pitted. Magnussen's third because Perez and Leclerc were regarded as second drivers. And so is Jack Doohan. All the ones that were in the top 10 were effectively regarded as second drivers, so they've all been sacrificed. Which means Mick's back in the fight. I'm going to stop pushing his fuel, but Ocon to Mick is 4 seconds. In fact, he's even got Ricciardo and Vettel. So he's back in this. There's a 16-second gap. Well, 14 to Perez. But Gasly is now fighting Russell and irritating just because of when they came out. I need to get Mick past Tsunoda because I know Tsunoda is slow. I think we might need to come in for another set of intermediates, or it might be faster to come in for another set of intermediates. So I'm just going to try and get Mick past Tsunoda here. Ideally before the pit lane even begins. Pit straight. Cool. That was kind of helpful. Mick's having a go at Stroll for good measure as well. Come on, Mick. Make it stick. No DRS, of course. Okay, so now it is wet. Will this accurately show what I need? He was literally on softs for 1 lap, which is the most annoying part of that. I thought we had more on those softs than we did. Oh, compared to that, right. Okay, so minus 2606 is basically what we're using as the marker point. Okay, so I think if we alternate between sort of pushing and not pushing, that's probably an optimal point to come in. 30 seconds faster. That's with a pit stop. Not quite sure why it's not as fast for Pierre. I don't know if it's factoring in his tyre wear or not, but the second round of intermediates is faster, apparently. Just on pure race pace, there might be obviously the issue of being held up, but depends how far these guys end up behind. Come on, Mick. Let's see if we can get Stroll. Sector 1's had an incident. Can't really see who it is. Oh, it's Russell on turn 1. Just goes in the middle of the corner. Just goes in the middle of the corner. Oh, so Gasly's no longer under fire either. Mick's having a go at Stroll, which is 100% necessary. I think he's got him. We'll just take him off deploy there. No DRS here, of course. Got to try and get Mick towards the front. I don't think they'll pit. I don't think the AI will pit here. So as soon as there's a bit of a gap to Stroll, I'll start harvesting with Mick. Bring back those tyres for now. And we can sort of do the same with Gasly. We know he can push the tyres a bit, come off them a bit, because he's about to lap Sargent. So I just like him to sort of just aggressively get Sargent a little bit here. We're halfway through the race and he hasn't really conserved his fuel back. So these two are fighting now. We'll just sit behind them, harvest up, maybe have a little bit of a nibble. So I think Zhou is just faster than Albon here, which is what's going on. Okay, let's go full attack on Albon. We're only 4 tenths behind him. He's twice that from Zhou. So I think if we sort of get aggressive on him, he'll be forced to sort of defend rather than follow. I'm just gone to the outside. This is the ballsy move. I think that's Mick done. It's a reasonable recovery, this. Considering just how ruined his race was. He's only about 4 or 5 seconds behind Verstappen. Just saying. Oh, I may have conserved with Pierre for a little bit too long there. Magnus has got within a second, but we'll just go aggressive on his tyres for a little bit. Because we've got a little bit of wiggle room because we will pit, I think. It feels faster. It might be the wrong thing to do, but it feels faster. Is that a safety car or is it just VSC or yellow flag? What's happened? Oh, it's behind. Okay. Turn 15. Oh, it was at the end of the race. I thought it was the other Haas. I mean, that's the weirdest crash I've seen. I mean, I appreciate the people directly behind Gasly just continuing to crash. So it's kind of deploying out of here. Just I know the battery's going to be empty as a result, but okay, he's not made the move. If he makes it into the second part, then sure. But we'll harvest up instead and then attack. Russell's on the back of Hamilton, so they're fighting now. It's weird that fight isn't between 2 Mercedes. I'm still not over Hamilton going to Alpine. Okay, so we've got a bit of ERS there. We'll get a little aggressive. Yeah, still on aggressive. I think we might as well just leave him on it, really. So I'll try and bring Mick up to Zhou a little bit. Does this feel like the chance? Feels a bit more like the chance. I'm going to see if he can do it without ERS. The problem here is Zhou is losing Norris ahead. Come on, Mick, you've got this. Outbrake him into the place where you crashed is an incredibly ballsy move. I think you've got it at this point. Making that move in the place where you crashed and lost all those positions to begin with is, well, Either you've taken the Ted Lasso advice of be a goldfish to heart, or that's incredibly brave. Don't know if he's actually ahead.
Sorry about the...
Well, this is irritating. Drive, Mick! Drive! Drive, Mick! Drive! Why are you waiting? That's the different crash. Why did you wait 10 seconds to turn round rather than do it immediately? That's a crash, but it's only a yellow flag. It is Max Verstappen, I think. That makes things interesting. He's lost an end plate. He is going to pit though. I'll leave Mick on conserve. I just need to get Mick slightly less in danger of running out of fuel. All right, go back aggressive now. I need to get back through that train. Sargent is so broken, it is unbelievable. He is a full minute behind Vettel. Yeah, he crashed into Tsunoda in practice, so he broke his car. I thought Tsunoda's car might have been broken as well, but that might just be regular. I know this is the optimal lap, but I'm just going to sort of blast the tyres as hard as I can to build up enough of a gap. I'm just going to blast the tyres until they stop being a benefit, basically. I wonder if anyone's going to blink and go... No, they didn't. They didn't go dry enough for long enough. 124.6. Right, one more lap. What's the time? 124.1. Not really a benefit. So we're going to go on to fresh intermediates for the remainder of this race. It's a ballsy move. Perez is 18... Well, Perez was 18 seconds behind. I don't know what that means for us now. He's going to lose places to Hamilton and Russell, obviously. Magnussen too, pretty certain. Perez and Leclerc is going to be tight. It's in the middle of that. It's right behind that. So blasting them to the end would have been a thing. So I think go aggressive and deploy as soon as you get out of there. Going to do the same for Mick. I don't know how much is going to help him in the long run, but I think the problem with Mick is he's going to put him in danger of being lapped, I think. How have you not got Leclerc? So we'll just full push to the end. Seriously, mate, how have you not got... Sorry, did you just say you failed to overtake and then this is good? Imbeciles. Pierre's going to have to harvest because... Clearly, he can't get past otherwise. Okay, so curious things happen. It looks like Magnus has fallen into this train. It looks like Verstappen is locked up on turn 1. This actually really makes it interesting because it's going to be both Verstappen and Mick without points. Probably. Mick is almost a lap down, but I think he might be going faster than Russell. At this stage, he is, yeah. By about a second.
Yeah.
Right, all things on Leclerc, please. Pierre, I didn't mean to switch off him there as he did that. I meant to go that way around, but it was... Oh, that's lovely on Magnussen. Is he going to get all three of them in the space of basically a lap? I'm going to rewatch the Magnussen overtake because that was lovely. It's in a place where I've not seen an overtake yet in these S's.
This was the Aston Martin.
It's lovely work. Just a quick look on Mick on Vettel. That's that sorted. Don't actually need to deploy. Gasly's overtaken Perez in the meantime. Into the chicane. Or bent. It's not a chicane, is it? It's kind of a chicane, I suppose. No, it's not. So Hamilton's fallen back into this now. Oh, he's actually got Hamilton as well by the time we've taken everything off him. Right, so let's not push things. There's 11 laps to go. Mick is closing in on Verstappen, who's stuck on Tsunoda. Apparently this was 30 seconds faster than not pitting. I wonder if we'll see that towards the end. Verstappen's on 70% intermediates. He changed as well when he had his moment. So that's going to get him to the end easily. I wonder if we're going to start seeing it as they dip towards, 50, 40%. Yeah, Mick's now joined this. We'll get him to deploy past Tsunoda, I think. Excellent. I wonder if we can deploy past Max. I wonder if Max did change his front wing, so he's actually not that broken. But it is a fight between second and third, and neither of us have a point. So, whilst I rewatch it, I realise I've not come back camera-wise. I do wonder if sort of going aggressive with Mick towards the end will get us those 30 seconds. I'm going to push and harvest at the same time, which should keep us the gap, at least for now. Okay, I think Mick's got to Ricciardo and Stroll. Obviously, I can't harvest with Mick, just on the virtue of Verstappen being behind, but we'll go aggressive on them, see if he can outbrake them. Well, he's not outbraking them. Hello, George. All right, I see Mick got what's going on with the camera there? Mick's on the outside of Ricciardo, I think. Gasly, meanwhile. Hello, George.
Get back off.
I wonder if this is going to be a straightforward pass or not. I mean, the sheer tyre pace. Look at the gap to Perez. It's not great overtaking from Mick there, but we'll have to pay attention to Gasly because he is making the move, and he's making it stick. I can leave him on aggressive. He's done that at the very end there, of the lap. Now, he's officially stopped raining, but I think the water is going to remain on track for the remainder here. Poor George thought he'd won this race. We made it interesting for the spectators at least. Can Mick make up half a minute in the last 5 laps? No, I don't think he is. But all their tyres are about to go off, so Mick's gone past. Okay, we're okay on fuel now. I suppose I don't have to go super aggressive here. I generally... Considering all our strategies had us running out of tyre by the end of the race, I'm a little bit surprised they're all on 40% by the end. It's also slightly weird that Gasly got more out of that than Mick did. I suppose he was behind all this lot by the time he actually pitted. He might actually even have Alex Albon by the end of this lap. Oh, Mick's got 2 more laps actually. Well, 1.5, because Pierre's behind him on the road. Just to make sure Pierre doesn't accidentally burn extra fuel in these last 3 corners. So there goes Mick past Albon. So technically Mick's in the same place he was when he had the spin. So doing the extra pit stop going on better tyres is all that's done is allowed him to get back to the place where he was before he span and inexplicably waited. He did actually in the end. That's only because I made you. Perez third in Mexico brings him back into that fight. Actually, must be said, Leclerc and Sainz 6th and 7th. Bottas isn't that fight either. So Leclerc and Sainz, I think we're in the 190s. One was very much close to Mick, I think. Mick was, I think, only about 4 or 5 ahead of Leclerc, something like that. So Leo got those points back there. Mick with no points. Verstappen with no points. Perez in third was about 20 points behind, wasn't he? So that's going to bring him back into it. It's made that entire pack close right up. Unfortunately, Verstappen was basically entire racer points ahead still. So Mick needed to get 25 points here in order to get close to him. It is irritating. I mean, the fact he crashed and came out 19th, then span and ended up 19th because he just waited. The fact he got back up to 13th twice, basically. Impressive. Points-wise, he's going to get a ton from overtakes. Plus, Mick's car was marginally broken as well. He had chassis damage and suspension damage, so I don't know if he actually technically had the pace. Podium, it's a win, Crofty. Carlos Sainz did start at the back. He did get past those Williamses straight away. I don't know which side to go for these. Carlos Sainz did start 20th. Of course, we prevented Perez getting a point fastest lap-wise, so good work from Pierre there, who gets the full 27. So Leclerc does get back ahead with 8 points. Sainz gets 6. Perez gets 15, so makes that bit a little bit more curious. Still requires Max Verstappen not to actually finish with all of these guys getting decent points to make that super interesting. George pulls away from Valtteri, but Lewis enters again. Maxon has a good race. Bloody music's still going, but I'm going to plough through it. Red Bull and Ferrari kind of go toe-to-toe. Only one driver finishing for Red Bull still gets more points than 2 drivers for Ferrari. Haas making things interesting for AlphaTauri at the very end? Maybe. Pierre gets 900 points and a development point. Mick, despite finishing 13th, gets more points. And we get a ton of money because of extra bonuses and whatnot. And perfectly scheduled research times 3. There was something here, and that is Pierre getting his 100th point in braking and his overall rating as well. So yeah, triple research in. I think the ATR period comes in tomorrow. That will just be refurb, I think. The ATR period starts today, in fact. So all those were scheduled perfectly for the ATR period. And I think we've got enough in the cost cap to actually do things here. So research for next year. Underfloor, please. That's the main one. Realistically, I just need this to get in by the end of the year. I'm always a little bit wary, so I'm just going to do that. Actually, which 2 are the longest 2 is standard? I think it is these 2, isn't it? Okay, so research on front wing and rear wing and underfloor all in on the 29th of December, which I think gets in time. So should be fine there. And how many chassis have I got? We'll make sure we get another one. More thinking about Abu Dhabi where you can crash more than Brazil, I think. Make sure I've got enough for that last race. We don't pull a Valtteri Bottas. But, well, if you enjoyed that race, that was more interesting than I was expecting. Do like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, ta-ra.